If we can catch that girl, oh, that'd be awesome.
Bethany Storro stood in front of the cameras and told the world that on August 30th, a woman threw a cup of acid at her, turning her face from this into this.
It was the most painful thing.
But the story became even more painful just 4 days later. In what may be a copycat crime, 41-year-old Derry Velarde, a mother of 5, was getting out of her car at her Arizona home when a woman threw a glass of acid at her. She told The Early Show about her experience in an exclusive interview last week.
But it only took seconds, probably milliseconds, for it to start burning. And yeah, it just felt like my skin was just on fire, and it just felt deep and intense, and it was awful.
She was left with severe burns on her face, neck, and back. It seemed like 2 vicious attacks. But now Bethany Storro says she made her story up, telling police Thursday she did it to herself.
During the interview, Ms. Storro admitted that her injuries were self-inflicted.
Police say during their investigation, Storro's story wasn't adding up. The 28-year-old then told them the truth. But why would she do this to herself?
Really what you're seeing for somebody like this is just a big hole in their life and a strong, desperate need for attention and willingness to go to any extent to get it.
Police say they have no explanation for Storro's hoax, but say she is sorry.
She is extremely upset. She's very remorseful. In many ways, this is something that just got bigger than what she expected.
Prosecutors will now decide whether or not to charge Storro with a crime. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Joining us this morning from Vancouver, Washington, is Police Commander Marla Schuman. Good to have you with us this morning. I think the question top of everyone's mind is, why would someone do this? Did Bethany Storro tell you why she threw acid on herself?
You know, she's had lengthy conversations with the detective who interviewed her, and I'm sure that he has that information. I'm not sure that we can actually discuss it right now. There are probably pending charges based on the actions of Bethany that prevent us from doing that. So is there a motive? I'm sure there is, and one can only wonder what her state of mind is.
Do you know what it was that made her decide to own up to this, to admit it?
Really, from the very beginning, her story had a lot of holes and red flags. And as we developed more and more information, it was very clear that this was probably a self-inflicted act, and that we actually executed a search warrant at her home yesterday morning and retrieved several pieces of evidence. At the conclusion of that, she spoke with the detectives and eventually owned up to the fact that this was actually something she had done herself.
Was there any acid or any product that could have been used on her that was found in the home?
We did not discover that at the home, no.
Do you think that her family knew about this at all?
Based on their reactions, no, I really don't think so. At this point, they're very concerned for Bethany, and they appear very devastated.
I can imagine. You mentioned that there are likely to be charges in this case. What could some of those charges, what sort of charges, I should say, could Bethany Storro be facing?
Well, the basic charge would be false reporting. It could go, depending on whether she accessed any of the funds from the fundraisers, any of the financial aspect of this, could go all the way up to felony charges on fraud.
And I know that you are working to get some of that money back that was donated. Commander Schuman, thank you for working us through some of those facts and the details on this.